Women are told that we really need to let go of that softer side of ourselves in order to succeed in this world. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am always so happy you're here. I say the same thing all the time, but it's true. Perhaps by now we are at 1,000 subscribers, and I really hope that we are. I tend to film my videos 1 week in advance. So like you all know, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I want to do a giveaway, but give me at least like a week in advance so that I can film the giveaway and get that all set up. But I hope that we are there by this point. If we are not, we keep going. I thank you so much if you have subscribed, if you have liked my videos, if you have commented down below. I so appreciate engaging with all of you, and I feel like you are all my friends. Some of you have noticed that I'm a little bit more comfortable on camera, and that is really due to the amazing connections that I have made with you women who live all around the world. If you are new here, my name is Cynthia. Hello. I'm 25 years old. I live with my husband and our 3 dogs. I run this YouTube channel. I also have a blog that I tend to post on once in a while, and I like to do summaries of some of the videos that I make, time permitting. And I would also love for you to follow me on my social media handles, which I will have linked in the description box. I talk about homemaking, etiquette, living as a feminine and high-value woman, and once in a while I talk about some topics that are a little bit controversial concerning the role of women today. The video today is going to be a little bit fun because I got some inspiration when, I forget exactly what it was, but I was reading something on the internet and it talked about sacrifices that you need to make to be able to live in alignment with who you truly are. You know that this is a theme that I talk about a lot on my channel. I talk about how we as women on average tend to blossom and really flourish when we are living in our femininity. But the thing is, just like any skill that you develop, you have to kind of get over that hump of activating that state. It all kind of comes down to physics. You want to get over the activation barrier in order to propel yourself into a feminine life. There are some things that you are going to need to sacrifice, some effort that you are going to need to do in order to change your life to be able to express your femininity. Because most of us are aware by now that we live in a society that tends to glorify masculinity. This isn't a topic that is new. If you are probably a subscriber to this channel, you have seen many other women talking about this on the internet. Women are told that we really need to let go of that softer side of ourselves in order to succeed in this world. I firmly actually stand in the opposing camp by saying that softness and embracing your emotions as a feminine woman has actually garnered me so much satisfaction and has propelled me further when I was working in the corporate world than adhering to my more masculine side. I want you to kind of reframe your thinking, however, in terms of the way that you view the term sacrifice and the stuff that you need to do in order to get yourself where you want to go. I want you to think about it like if you are in an intimate relationship with somebody else. You might love them with all of your heart, but what good is it if you don't actually put in the effort to show them love in terms of their love language and the way that they feel it? Those are things that you actually have to teach yourself in order to do. And this doesn't mean that you aren't genuinely loving of them. It is just a learning process to know how they feel love. Similar to your femininity, you might have been born with this more natural feminine tendency, but you need to do some things in order to express it, in order to bring it out. So without getting into a ramble about that, I can do it another day. I wanted to share with you 10 things that I did, 10 sacrifices that I made in order to begin living a more feminine life, which actually aligns greater with who I truly am as a person and now has become something natural to me. The first thing that I did was that I stopped competing with women and I stopped competing with people and I began collaborating. You know that in almost every one of my videos, I talk about creating relationships with other people. The truly feminine woman is more concerned with creating relationships with people than she is with competing with people. This doesn't mean that you don't have the competitive nature inside of yourself, for example, to defend yourself in a fight or flight situation. Truly try to embrace what other people have by feeling happy for them, by being grateful for what you have, and by seeking to really see how you can help that person rather than what you can do to be better than that person. If you are a believer, I also encourage you to look at situations where you may be envious with a kind heart that God placed those people on earth to express those talents, and it's all for us to enjoy and really rejoice in what He has created. Rather than feeling that you are inferior, rejoice in what He has done for the other person, knowing that you too have your own special gifts. The second thing that I did was that I learned to improve my language skills. You know that this is something I continue to work because every single day I speak in 2 languages. Improving your language skills and the way that you communicate with other people goes again back to that relationship formation that we are seeking to achieve as feminine women. The way that you can improve your language skills is you can begin reading. If you don't like reading or you are too busy, I encourage you to actually listen to audiobooks and podcasts and really listen to literature that is of a level that you strive to achieve. It also takes about 7 to 10 times of seeing and using a new word before it actually becomes ingrained in your mind. So you are going to want to perhaps pick a word of the week that you are going to want to incorporate into your life in order to learn it. Language also has to do with having good conversation. I will link my video on good conversation above and down below. If you have watched this video, again, I would love if you would hit the like button just because it's one of my first videos and it's not the best, but the tips in it are actually kind of unique, and I think that if you get over watching me in my first videos, then you will appreciate some of the tips. You can also read the blog post associated with it. The third thing that I did was I learned to appreciate men. This goes again with what culture is kind of teaching us today, that men are misogynist, that men are sexist, that men are negative in so many different ways. But the truth is that so much of our society was built upon the efforts of men, and I think that is something to celebrate. Men are the people going out defending our country. Men are the people building the infrastructure in our country. Men are the people keeping us safe, and men are the people who are being good dads, which are critical for both the female and male species. Learning to appreciate men also helped me not be competitive with men. When I see my husband and I see men in my family achieving financial success as well as academic and career success, because they are going to be able to provide for their families, and we need men of good character to be in those roles, and I don't think that dismissing their efforts is actually right, because we should view everybody as a person. Feminine and masculine are complementary, so when you really seek to understand men, you will better be able to understand yourself as an opposite but a complementary role. But the fourth thing that I did was I stopped making excuses for what I believe. I am a political and socially conservative woman, and I have traditional beliefs. There, I said it. I ripped off the band-aid and I told you all how it is. I have stopped making excuses for my beliefs by thinking and really being afraid that other people are going to criticize me as a racist person or as a sexist person, because I know that I am not that. So when you begin to embrace your beliefs and what you stand for, I really think that it will also help you embrace your femininity, because being a feminine woman in today's society is actually counterculture. This kind of leads into the fifth thing that I'm going to talk about, is the fact that I have learned to not be easily insulted. So the way that I did this was I kind of pictured everybody as a child. Not everybody has good upbringing or parents who teach them to treat other people like they want to be treated themselves. So view everybody like a child. Perhaps if they are showing some negative emotion to you or criticizing you, that they might just feel some sort of upset and might not have had somebody teach them the skills of being polite and nice to other people. The reason why you don't want to be easily insulted goes back to being able to stand firmly in your beliefs and embrace yourself as a feminine woman. Another thing is that as feminine women, we also want to be able to be good homemakers and be good mothers. And these are skills that we want to instill in our children, because we want to equip them to go out in the world and be emotionally resilient and be able to stand up for what they believe in. So if somebody insults you, of course you're going to initially feel sad, but like I stated, don't take it to heart. Just view them as a child perhaps having a tantrum and move on with your day and think about all the things that people say that are lovely, because you probably don't notice that as much as the negative things. And then once you begin to notice those positive things, it will be easier for you to dismiss the negative ones. The sixth thing that I did was I embraced my emotions. So I was always told growing up that I should not cry in public. I should not cry at a job, and then if I show my emotions at a job, I would never get promoted and that my life would basically be over. So I decided I wasn't going to live that way. I decided that being a feminine woman is actually very much in being in tune with your emotions. So if something was sad, I would cry. If something made me happy, I would laugh. I wouldn't be afraid of not expressing my emotions out of fear of what other people would judge me for, because at the end of the day, emotions and females expressing their emotions actually brings a lot of humanity to the world. Being able to cry at something sad that you see and then other people really seeing that you have that emotion actually makes for a more sensitive world. We live in cities where people don't even make eye contact with other people. We live in places where people just don't even say hello and they don't even interact in a polite manner. So you being able to show your emotions really helps remind other people that there is beauty and there is compassion in this world. Number 7 is I stopped pushing my body to its limits. I used to think that being a contributing member of society meant being as efficient as possible. It meant really pushing my body, lack of sleep, go, 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 and not really taking the time for myself. It took me a long time to be able to prioritize my body. I actually gained about 20 pounds over the course of a year and a half after I stopped modeling and doing pageants because I was neglecting my body. I thought that I was too busy to just go out and take a 15-minute walk. But I have decided over the past several months to do that, and it really helped me be more positive and feel better and more comfortable in my body because I know that I am taking care of it. This is also one of the things that I saw and that my mother told me when she got sick. I can't even believe that I'm getting emotional right now, because usually on camera I don't get emotional, but we're embracing the emotions here. You know what I was saying? I'm embracing my emotions. But she told me that she just, even though she was a very healthy person before she became sick, she said that she had always put her body second to her career, to everything in her life, and she deeply regretted that. So if there's any positive lesson that comes from her being sick, I would want it to be this. And I really don't want you as a woman to fall into the trap of what society is telling us today, that we need to be as productive as the opposite sex in order to accomplish anything. As feminine women, it is so important for us to take care of our bodies because that is one of the major ways that we feel fulfillment. The 8th thing that I'm going to talk to you about was that I began embracing my menstrual cycle and using my menstrual cycle to channel my femininity. I actually recommend that you check out my video on how I did this. I will link it above and down below. And it is also another tool that you can use in order to conceive and to rule out some of your health issues. I stated in this video that I actually suffered from some ovarian cysts, which perhaps could explain why a lot of you might be wondering, like, she's been married for 3 years, why does she not have kids? The 9th thing was that I stopped following just the clothing trends. I began dressing for my femininity, and if you are somebody who has been subscribed to me for a while, you know I have 2 videos on style, and I will try every season to get a new video out there on how I express my femininity through my style. I'm actually wearing some of the items I talked about in my fall video, this skirt and this lovely sweater. So I would recommend that you go check out those videos. I will link them above as well as down below. And the 10th and final thing that I want to tell you that I did in order to live out my femininity and a sacrifice that I made was that I stopped fighting in my marriage. Now, this doesn't mean that you aren't going to have any disputes in your marriage, but learning to be a better wife really helped me embrace my femininity, because femininity is one of the major tools used to create a complementarian marriage. I was laughing and I was telling my friend, one of my best friends who actually watches my video, hi Vanessa, that there are some books that I read when I first became a married woman that mainstream society would think would be kind of radical. One of them would be Fascinating Womanhood, and this book really changed my life and changed my marriage. You will learn some things that are kind of countercultural, but if you just give it like a few weeks in your marriage, and you will find that it will transform the dynamic that you have with your spouse for the better. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made it through all of the video. Thank you. You are great. You are amazing. I'll see you next video, and that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.